I just want to punch some ladies in roller skates.
Is this where we're introducing ourselves?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
We can put it somewhere else if we want to.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
My name is Kailen.
And I'm Anne.
And this is Practical Craft.
And he's actually way taller than me until we sit down.
That's right. Much taller.
Same torso length. Different leg length.
In this video, we're going to talk to you about the design and the build of our camper and everything that went into it.
So every year, or we hope every year, we take a trip to Idaho to see some family.
Mm-hmm.
And we live in Iowa, and that trip is very long. It's 21 hours plus by car. Yeah. We have done this two different ways.
Mm-hmm.
We have gone by train,
Mm-hmm.
which is fantastically cheap, like really cheap.
It is cheap.
For all four of us, round trip, it comes to like $626.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's 27 plus hours on a train.
Yeah.
And that 27 hours is rarely really 27 hours. It's usually more like 30, 31. Trains in America are not on schedule. When we get on the train in St. Paul, we have to get on the train at like 11-ish.
Yeah.
Which
Middle
would
of
be
the
fine
night.
if it were actually 11, but it's usually actually midnight or 1 o'clock is
Mhm.
when the train really gets there.
But then we're on that train for 24 hours. We sleep.
More than 24 hours.
Well, we're on it for 24 hours. We sleep, and then we're on it again until the following night.
Yes.
And then we get off at our destination.
At theoretically 2:30 a.m.
Yeah.
Often 5 or 6. But the train station that we get off at is 45 minutes to an hour away from the place we are actually going.
Yeah.
So we have to make someone of our family drive a long way in the middle of the night to pick us up.
And then drive a long way to bring us back. It has become a very important trip to take every year if we can swing it. Mm-hmm. We try to swing it. But it is a matter of getting there that has become the stumbling block.
Yes. And financially, the best way to swing it is the train. But Kailen gets really motion sick,
mm-hmm.
besides us being on there for a while. And it's very hard for both of our children to sleep.
Yep.
For what I think are probably obvious reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kailen just didn't sleep and was full of anxiety all night. And I'm the only person who slept. Last year, we decided to try a hotel. That seemed so reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
It really seemed like it was the obviously right thing to do.
Yeah.
Except for the expense. It wasn't cheap. I mean, in terms of driving, it was great.
Mm-hmm.
But then we would get to the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And, we've got the kids and we have the dog. Because the dog has to come with because Tad has anxiety. The dog is what helps him manage his anxiety on a long trip. I was famous as a child for never sleeping the first night in a new place. And
mm-hmm.
that hasn't changed, apparently. I still just don't sleep. And Tad and Lou are not great at sleeping. And then there's all the stuff.
Yep.
There's the dog. There's the dog's food. There's the kids. There's the fuzzy blankets. We must have the fuzzy blankets, say the kids. And then there are 3 weighted blankets. So that
all 3 of you can sleep.
Yep. And that's 32 pounds worth of blankets that we have to haul in and out.
Then there are the stuffies and the Legos and other toys that the kids need to bring.
And then we have to have, all of our cables and mm-hmm. our cords. And then there's the cooler.
With all of our, perishable food in it.
Yeah. And it's just a recipe for disaster. Nobody sleeps and we lose everything.
That's when I become anxious, when we have all this stuff. And packing all the stuff and unpacking all the stuff and repacking all the stuff next morning.
Yeah. So it quickly became clear that this was a bad choice.
Yeah.
Both expensive and impractical for our specific family. We had been thinking about a camper. Now, there is a problem with campers, which is that we don't have a truck.
Mm-hmm.
We have a 2015 Toyota Corolla.
No, the
Oh no, I got that wrong. We have a
2006 Toyota Corolla,
There we go. It's even older.
and we had a 2015 Nissan Leaf.
Our initial thought was borrow Dad's truck, but of course, this is the one vacation. This is the only time when all of us leave at the same time.
So your dad and your mom were taking your dad's truck to pull their camper
to the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
So we couldn't do that, and we had thought about, Mom and Dad had offered to let us all be in the camper, which, number one, I think would quickly drive Mom and I completely insane. But number two, Kailen can't stand up fully straight in that camper, and there is no bed long enough for him.
Mm-hmm.
So we had tried another trip with tent camping.
Mm-hmm.
And we like camping in tents, but we don't like traveling and staying in tents between.
You have to unpack everything, set up the tent, sleep in the tent, and then you wake up.
And you have to take it all back down again.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like we were stuck. And then I found out that the Toyota can actually tow 2,000 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Which isn't a ton of pounds, but it's actually more pounds than our old Hyundai could pull.
Our 2004 Hyundai Santa Fe, which was our favorite vehicle.
Still miss it.
Yep.
Died in a snowstorm.
Got rear-ended, yeah.
On Highway 17, which if you live near where we do, you're not surprised.
So then there were campers that we looked into to see if any of them were towable.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, our first thought was a pop-up camper.
Right.
Because, like, isn't that what pop-up campers are for?
Mm-hmm.
But most of the ones I could find that were in our price range,
mm-hmm.
which means used,
mm-hmm.
were already almost 2,000 pounds. So we could pull it, but we couldn't pack it. And we did want to make sure that whatever trailer we were towing was under 1,000 pounds, because you need to add all of our body weight
mm-hmm.
and the weight of all of our luggage in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we concluded that all we really needed to do was sleep in there.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's all it did, that would be fine. Which led us to Teardrop campers.
Right.
Which Kailen loves. Especially the woody ones.
Yeah. Yeah. They look really cool, for one thing.
Gorgeous. But they are, like, especially the woody ones, are not that light.
No, they turned out to buy one turned out to not be any lighter, especially within our price range.
Mm-hmm.
And we found very few that were within our price range.
Almost none.
Because
they were, I mean,
they're very expensive.
$14,000 is kind of the low end for a camper that has to sleep 4 people.
That's right, because we had to
fit 4 people in.
Fit 4 people and the dog. And
part of why they were heavy, number one, was that they were making room for 4 people. So, like, if we just needed a 2-person Teardrop, no problem.
Right.
But for 4 people, and then most of them also had a kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't really need the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it was just heavy. It was heavy.
Mm-hmm.
So we were stumped
mm-hmm.
for a long while, to the point where we weren't even sure we were going to make it out there next year.
Yeah.
This year. Like, this is this is necessary to us as human beings.
It's necessary to us as human beings to be there with people who we do not get to see except really during this time of year.
So we're kind of hanging in the air. And then I don't know which one of us had the idea of stretched canvas.
You did.
Okay.
It would have to have been you.
I am the one who's like, what if we did it in a way that nobody's done, and is very risky. Both of us come from theater, and in theater, there are Broadway flats and Hollywood flats.
And a flat is the thing that you build as a backdrop for the set of the play.
It's kind of like Legos, almost.
Yeah.
Like, you know, those big Lego like wall pieces that you smack in. So you build the flat and then you just kind of like hook them together, not with Lego bits, with clamps and things.
And the difference between a Broadway flat and a Hollywood flat is in the name. Broadway flats were used predominantly on stage, on Broadway or elsewhere, and then Hollywood flats are used for film sets. And the reasons for that are that the Broadway flat uses stretched canvas over a frame, very much like a painter's canvas.
It's a giant
painter's canvas.
Yeah.
And when you have that on a stage with the distance of the set from the audience, you're able to get away with it in a way that you really can't when you have a camera on a set that is filming much closer to the set.
Yeah.
Which is where Hollywood flats came in, which does not use stretched canvas. Those are primarily entirely wood.
And then the other reason that they use the canvas flats is that they're lighter weight.
Correct.
And, you know, theater shows tour.
Yep.
So being able to like take apart the set, pack it up and move. If it were all made out of plywood, especially when you were doing that in railway cars instead of in trucks or vans.
Yep.
That's really difficult. And then also because there's fly systems in theaters. So the fly system is where here's your stage, and then there is another space above it that is as big as your stage plus a little bit, and you have ropes and things going down where you can fly set pieces in and out. And something that's all wood is extremely heavy.
Yeah.
And certainly when this was first going on, you did not have a mechanical, like there was no motor flying those up and down. That was people hauling on ropes.
Someone was in the back, behind stage, or off stage.
Yeah. So having the stretched canvas was much more practical for theater uses. I learned to make stretched canvas flats in high school. And stretched canvas, otherwise known as the cheapest muslin you could buy at Joann's.
Yeah.
Because that's the budget of a school theater production. But those stretched paper-thin muslin flats held up for year after year and show after show. And they were very lightweight, and high schoolers are not gentle.
Yeah.
So the fact that they stood up for so long was pretty impressive. And I kind of started thinking, well, could you do that with a structure? I'm already kind of interested in tents and yurts, so I knew that we often discount the stability of a frame and canvas. But then I also remembered my grandpa's airplane, and the airplanes he used to work on were covered in canvas. Especially the wings. Yeah. Not always the body, but the wings were covered in canvas. And that the very first airplanes that were ever made, and like the World War I fighters, they were entirely made out of canvas. So they were a frame with canvas stretched over it that had been painted just like the canvases in theater. And the thing I forgot to mention is that when you paint it, it tightens. The canvas shrinks and it gets really tight. So there's no wrinkly, wiggly marks.
There's no slack.
Yeah. And I thought, well, if it's strong enough to fly...
If it's strong enough to fly.
Seems like you could probably tow it down the highway. And then that left only the question of, would this be waterproof?
Right.
And I kind of sort of had an idea that maybe boats sometimes use them, use stretched canvas. And I was looking at Teardrop trailers thinking, well, surely if this is a good idea, someone would have done it by now. And I found out that in Teardrop campers, they do often use canvas, but what they do is they make the plywood frame and then they cover it with the canvas and paint it on with wood glue so it's like permanently attached, and then paint over it to make it waterproof. It's not structural, it's making it waterproof instead of using fiberglass. It's called poor man's fiberglass instead. And it's so like that got me to, it can be waterproof, but is it waterproof if you don't put it on top of wood?
Yeah, if you don't
put it like as a covering on plywood. If
you don't face the plywood with it. Yeah.
And I don't know, I must have poked the internet the right way, and Instagram showed me skin on frame boats. I was not looking for it, and my brain went tingle, 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 hooray. And so skin on frame boats are exactly what they sound like. You make the frame of a boat and then you stretch a skin over it. Now, originally that was animal skins, but now that canvas is an option, people use canvas. And then here's some graphs of them historically, and like here are pictures of those like current boats. And some of them are very basic, and some of them are very fancy. And like here's one where we've got like the canvas covered one and then just the frame. A lot of the boat community was talking about using like Kevlar and stuff like that as their skin over the frame, which made me think, did we abandon the canvas? Was there something wrong with it? And I found people who make canvas boats, and the answer is basically no. And this confirmed a thing I have thought for a long time, which is that humans currently are spending a lot of time trying to invent high-tech things that we already have in low-tech versions. So yes, a boat with a Kevlar frame is very tough, and it's very lightweight, but the amount of lightweightness that you gain isn't that much. And the difference in toughness isn't that big either. Like, I was sitting there comparing how much does this Kevlar covered boat weigh versus this boat, and how many feet are there, and how deep is their hull. A lot of research leads to math. It's a horrible truth.
But the comparison between using high tech versus low tech,
it largely seemed to be how much you're going to pay.
Yeah.
And I mean, environmental impact. Making Kevlar is a very high energy process.
Yeah.
Making cotton canvas isn't super low energy, but it's much lower than Kevlar. So at that point, we knew that it would be waterproof for sure.
Right.
If you can stick it, if I can use the same process that the people are using for skin on frame boats, and they can put them in water, ours could definitely handle rain. But even though, like, yes, airplanes were made out of this and they flew, they had much smaller volumes they were encompassing in a wing.
Yeah.
So probably strong enough. Probably strong enough. Not really sure. And the best kind of project is a project where some element of it could completely fail.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what makes a project fun. Now I had the perfect high-risk project to design.
Yeah.
In our relationship, I am often the designer.
And I'm the builder.
I'm the risk taker.
I am the risk mitigator.
You're the risk. I guess. I married her. This is what I signed up for.
So it's a risky marriage.
One of us has ADHD and the other one does not. I'll let you guess who's who. Kailen loves to be taken on my risks, though.
I do, actually.
Yeah, he did tell me I wasn't allowed to become to join roller derby.
Well, yeah, those there were health reasons that were involved with that.
I may have hips that don't stay together very well.
Yeah, you may.
I definitely have hips that don't stay together very well.
Yeah.
And he just thought that maybe full contact roller skating was a bad idea. I still don't fully believe him that that's a bad idea. I just want to punch some ladies in roller skates.
Says the one who did not grow up in an abusive household.
Yes, my thirst for violence is unquenchable. And I never indulge it, so...
There aren't any demons to exercise here.
Anyway, so I started drawing, and I'm just gonna like show you here are a whole bunch of drawings I made.
A series of drafts for
it, like, and it's a fun space puzzle because like how do you fit 4 people in there without it becoming uncomfortable? How tall does it need to be? So I'm also like looking up a lot of other Teardrop campers and going like, how tall is it on the inside versus the outside?
Mm-hmm.
How long do we want it to be? And at what point is it so long that it's too heavy? And how heavy is the trailer going to be? And there are a lot of variables. And I mean, I got to the place I usually get to, which is I want to make it as small and compact as possible. And then I remember that I live with someone who is 6'4".
Yep.
And has a wee bit of claustrophobia.
Just a little.
So then I make it bigger. And we got to the point where we figured out that the basic design was going to be Kailen and I on the floor of the camper, and then a raised shelf with Luella and Tad on that, and they would overlap. So in a lot of just made for 1 or 2 people teardrops, it's, you lay on the floor, and then the kitchen is here, and then you've got cabinets sticking back this way that overlap over your feet. So instead of having those cabinets, we had kids. And it was a real like, how low should it be? How big are feet? How much room do we need? How thick is the mattress? And then how much overlap is too much? And I guess we'll tell you how that went in the reflections episode.
Yeah.
But what I finally decided on was that it should only overlap by 3 feet. Which meant that the entire length of the camper would be 10.
10. Yeah.
That's 10. And I also wanted to include a little extra space at the front. You know how teardrops go like this? So that there was a slanted headboard where we could like sit up and lean back against. And then it came over and down. At that point, it was just, what trailer are we going to use? We finally settled on this trailer from Harbor Freight.
Yes.
And for several reasons. 1, it was the right size. 2, it had the best like amount of poundage it could carry to actual weight of trailer.
Ratio.
It was definitely the cheapest, but it's the cheapest because we have to put it together ourselves.
Yeah.
We weren't just going to like pick it up, but we didn't have to take anything off of it. So at least we're moving forward, not backwards to move forward. And then it's got a lot of customizability where you can move things around. We could change where we mounted the tires if we wanted to balance if it turned out that we were too heavy on the tongue. We didn't, but we could have.
Yeah, we built the trailer. I built the trailer.
You built the trailer?
According to the instructions.
Yes.
This time. We'll see about next time.
Maybe not next time. We'll see. So we bought the trailer, and then I finalized my plans. And for all that drawing, we had one last question, which was, will this weigh little enough?
Yeah.
So I got to make plans and then calculate how many cubic inches of lumber we were going to have
Yeah.
in the entire thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then multiply that by how much a cubic inch of each type of lumber weighed.
Yep.
And then estimate how many yards of canvas we were going to do. That was easier because it was much smaller numbers when you're doing 10 ounce per square yard canvas.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very easy conversion. Figuring out how much lumber weighs per cubic inch and then figuring out, it was a lot of math, but I did it. And I estimated right. I estimated a little on the heavy side, which was the goal. So all of that plus the camper, and it looked like the camper would come in at no more than 800 pounds. Hopefully 600 pounds. We bought the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
We made the material list. I made a finalized plan. Here is the finalized plan. If any of you have ever made plans for things, this is not enough plan.
Right.
And usually I would be much more detailed in the plans that I make. But because we had never done this before, we went with, we'll have a rough plan so that we can test each component as we go and see if we need to add more, subtract more.
Well, and you would do a much more detailed plan for a contractor / builder who was not your husband.
Absolutely. I mean, the fact that Kailen had been here for all the design process, and this is far from the first thing we've built together.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't need me to tell him the exact stuff.
Right.
That was just silly.
Mm-hmm.
So we did talk about, well, we're doing pretty lightweight framing because we're doing like 1x2, 1x1.
It was actually usually 1x3 that I used most of.
Yeah.
Mostly, yeah.
But mostly what we were worried about was the frame not being rigid enough.
Yeah.
So here below my very rough plan is Kailen's
very
augmented framing idea.
Yeah.
We're basically to put like the 1x3 this way and then stick a 1x1 or 1x2 next to it.
Perpendicular.
So that it just had a little more. And I mean, we talked about doing like little triangles, but in some of the spaces, especially where the kids' beds were going to be, we needed it to be able to bear more weight. And
bear more weight and not fall over.
This whole thing was, will we drive down the road and it'll just go like driving down a road at 70 miles an hour. That's like putting it through a hurricane. And I mean, the canvas does add some rigidity. And in some ways, we knew that it added something better than plywood, not just because it was lighter weight, but because canvas has much better torsion resistance. It's not going to split or break when it's pushed on by the wind. So we didn't need to worry near as much about it breaking, like actually breaking. We needed to worry about it collapsing.
It wasn't gonna like tear down the middle.
No, it wasn't going to tear down the middle. It wasn't going to like a little bit of racking while we drove was not going to pull the whole thing apart.
Right.
Theoretically, this would be better for driving down the road because it has some give. Yeah, tune in next time when we build a camper in the 2 weeks before we leave in said unbuilt camper.
Yes.
That's not a good risk that you should take. Hopefully we'll see you next time.
Yes. If you please like, and please subscribe. Do all of the YouTube things. We are Anne and Kailen. This is Practical Craft. Thank you so much for joining us. We do hope to see you back next time.
Yep. Bye.